Hello and welcome to another episode of the All Sport Podcast. My name is Lachlan Turner, one of your co-hosts.
I'm another one of your co-hosts, Liam McDonald.
And I am your third co-host, Sumit Kadar. Now, before we start, I'd just like to remind you all to subscribe to our socials. On Instagram, it's alls_sports 2021. And on Facebook, it is Alls Sports Podcast.
Right, now let's get straight into it. So, as we all know, the AFL season begins in 2 weeks, and I feel like, or we feel like, that we should do our ladder predictions when, there's going to be a lot of debating, and try not to be biased. Liam, I'm looking at you. And
I guarantee you I will not be putting Brisbane in first place.
Oh, look, look, that's already a good sign. You've already given it away. God damn it, what are you doing? So
17 other teams.
So I feel like we should go from 18th to first. And I suppose let's get on to it. So 18th. I think there's about 3 teams that could finish 18th in my opinion, and I'll give you my reasons why, and then you let me know what you think, and then we'll kind of decide. I've got Gold Coast, Hawthorn, and we'll go north. Now, I've got Gold Coast in there because, they don't have a forward line there without Ben King, and I know they've lost probably their second best midfielder in Hugh Greenwood. Because before he got injured, he was, I think, leading the AFL in tackles and was up there in contested possessions. And now it's pretty much all down to Tuke Miller. Now, I know they tried, I can't say tried because Lukosius was a forward as a junior. They put him back up forward where he had played as a junior, but I just don't see who's going to kick their goals. They might have that one guy that might kick 3 or 4 in, maybe one in every 5 games, Corbett, I think he did, against Collingwood, where he kicked 4 last season. But, their defence, I'm just not too sure about. I can't name a Gold Coast defender at the moment. That's how unknown they are. Can you name any Gold Coast defenders?
I think Jack Bowes plays in the back line at the moment.
Oh, yeah, half back.
That's still back line.
Yeah. Okay. Well, what about key defenders? Sam Collins. Sorry, no, he's literally the one guy he's literally their lone good defender, in my opinion. You might not agree, but I rate him. Well, it looks like someone's just cut out.
You don't have to say that every time it happens.
Look, I apologise. Now that's just, in that case then, I'll get a bit of paper and a pen and I'll write it down because I will not be putting...
We can literally just do it after.
Are you going to remember who we put in? That's what I thought.
I can watch it back later, can't I?
Yeah, you can, but look, to save some time, I'll do it. I'll write it down and...
Yeah, let's just go Gold Coast.
Oh, wait, hang on. You haven't heard...
Literally, Gold Coast still have their youth problem, and they didn't get any good older guys, and Ben King did his knee already.
Yes, but I think Hawthorn are a serious contention. The only young, good player that Hawthorn have, talented player, is Josh Ward, who they literally just drafted. Otherwise, Warple really hasn't been the same since he won the best and fairest. And I don't really know if drafting that tall key defender was the right move for them last year. I really don't think that it was right. So so I think Hawthorn are serious. And plus, who are their forwards? Dunstan and Bruce, they can't rely on those 2 old heads anymore. And the 2 young key forwards, yes, they've shown flashes, but they haven't shown exactly enough to convince me that they are the next thing for Hawthorn. Plus, new coach, new game plan. It's going to
Sicily coming back. That's going to be worth something.
But to be honest, though, does he really play on his man? He's a really, you think of all the defenders, Moore, you could probably put Ridley in that category.
Big boy McAvoy. Actually,
no.
did he go back into the ruck?
No, he spent time forward in the practice game against Richmond. No, who's another defender? Well, I mean, I know we're going there small. Sard's a big one. Same with Hine, but they don't really play on their man. They literally just float across the back line and just try to take intercept marks. That's literally their role. Their role isn't to be one-on-one contested beasts. So, yeah, I think it's a toss-up between Gold Coast or Hawthorn. My first, and I mean North. I mean, I do expect them to improve, but look, I mean, who knows? Maybe this season, you know, the wooden spoon winner might win 6 games, which I think is North's. You know what North are probably going to be around the 6 to say 8 win mark. And, you know, and I do like their midfield as well. You know, their midfield's quite young, which is.
I know. I'm not sure Hawthorn or Gold Coast can get 6 wins, like, because part of those 6 wins for North, you'd probably count on them beating Hawthorn and Gold Coast.
Yeah, no, you're right there. So, well, yeah, okay. So 18th would be Gold Coast. We'll go, and then I suppose that probably goes without saying. I think we would think Hawthorn would finish 17th, and that's just it's no disrespect to Hawthorn. I respect what they've done throughout the years with their, you know, how they've been able to sustain and make finals and whatnot. But
the lack of early picks is finally coming back to bite them.
Yeah, it's coming back to bite them, and Warple necessarily hasn't done anything really since his best and fairest year. He's been there, and well, I mean, Wingard's probably their best player at the moment. And that's not a dig at Wingard, but like, he probably should have honestly stuck with Port in saying that. But look, that's clearly up to him. So yeah, so we'll go Hawthorn. Now, 16th, I know you'd probably think that I'm thinking North, but I've got a team that I think will seriously slide down into 16th, bottom 4.
And that is?
West Coast. Hear me out. Their old players are nowhere near the players they were 3 to 4 years ago when they won the flag. Jack Darling won't be playing for who knows how long. Josh Kennedy is injury prone. Elliot Yeo's injury prone. She's out with an injury. They, for some reason, delisted Joe Brander, who I thought was playing well enough to earn another contract. Nick Nat's about 30, and he's also injury prone. What other ruckman do they have? I literally can't think of their backup ruckman's name.
Don't they have Vardy?
Vardy. I thought they lost him. I thought he retired. That's right.
Oh, right.
And really, and they're all, you know, Gaff, he's not the player he was 3-4 years ago. Shuey's got now, he's just injury prone. And I think now, if you're an opposition team going over to WA 3-4 years ago, you probably would have been scared to play them there. But now you could probably bet that a lot of the clubs now are not scared to play West Coast in WA.
They're licking their lips. Freo and West Coast out west.
Well, yeah, I mean, and then when you think about their first draft choice, it really made no sense. They drafted a guy who was injury prone, and he gets injured in the game against Fremantle. Oh no, sorry, in the one of the trial matches. So I don't get what they see. And really, the only good young player that they have coming up through the ranks at the moment is Oscar Allen. And he had a pretty poor second half of the season last year as well. And as I said, I think if they win like 10 games with that team, they'd be doing well. But if I was them, honestly, I'd probably try tank to get an early pick.
Hey, tanking's a buzzword nowadays, Lockie. You can't tank.
Oh, well, look, teams do it, so can't say.
Not officially.
Not officially, but teams do it anyway. So, But 16th, look, honestly, I reckon North could actually finish higher than West Coast.
Yeah, I'm happy
So,
with that. I'm happy with
so-
sticking West Coast down. I forgot how shaky they were looking.
Yeah, well, I mean, I know they signed that forward, the X304, but what? They expected a delisted forward to try save their forward line. And I don't know, like, I don't know what Kennedy's like at the moment, but
He was
Yeah,
injury prone last year.
yep. And look, I mean, look, the thing is, they've got the one thing they have gone for them. I think they have a couple of really good halfback flankers in the making there, and that's Alex Witherdon and Sam Petrovsky-Seton, who they got from Carlton.
Yeah, Alex Witherden, who they also got from another team, Brisbane.
Yep. But I thought that was a really good get by West Coast, because he's shown in the past that he's a really good young player, but he got pushed out of the side. Now, 15th, I think we would have to say North in that case. Would you agree? North Melbourne have been the bottom four. Like,
Yeah, I don't know. You could argue that they could push up to like 15th or 14th even.
well, yeah, well, 15th is the next position or next team on the ladder. Well, who do you reckon will finish 15th then? Because, I mean, I don't know, you're probably going to say one team, but again, I think maybe they might not make finals, but I think they could make a serious case for, maybe finishing 8th, and that's Collingwood. I seriously think they could.
I'd probably have Collingwood down this end of the ladder.
Really? Like, here's the thing though. Where did you have Essendon finishing last season compared to, where they finished in 2020?
I would have said they would have been around 8.
Come on.
What?
I had them bottom 6. I seriously thought if they won 6 games with the rebuilding that they were going through, I would have thought 6 to 8 wins was massive. And they had a bunch of young kids that they played. I mean, we all know their names, but, Draper, Jones, Brian, Cox, Reed, Perkins, all these young kids, and they were able to finish 7th. 7th? 8th. It was 7th or 8th. I can't remember. And I know what happened. Nobody needs to remind me about what happened to the Bombers, but I feel like that's kind of similar with Collingwood. Patrick Lipinski, I reckon, he's going to explode now, because he's now got the midfield opportunities that he didn't have at the Dogs. I really like the look of Oliver Henry and Finley McRae. Pretty much all the top picks that they got. Now, as I said, people were giving Collingwood a lot of crap for the way that they, that yes, they lost Chalor Stevenson and whatnot, but it meant that they got 5 first round picks in the 2020 draft, and they all have shown promise. So I just honestly can't see them finishing bottom 4 this year. I really can't.
So North Melbourne 15?
North Melbourne 15th?
14. Well, if we've got Collingwood closer to the 8, then...
I'm not saying we have to have them. Like, do you
No.
realistically think that they can
well,
do it?
You made a similar argument. You made a pretty convincing argument, being that I had Essendon around the top 8 last year, and Collingwood are essentially doing an Essendon.
That's well, yeah, that's true. Yeah, 14th. Oh,
14.
geez, that.
Who do we
one team
reckon is going to underperform? Well, actually, Adelaide. What do you think about Adelaide?
See, they're a team that I'm not really sure, because I feel like that they could. Ray Chubb looks like he looks like a gun. He kicked 3 goals in both the trial game and the Amy Series community game against Port. I mean, yes, they've lost Sloan and Laird, so that might hurt them early in the year, but Tom Dode is back. Jordan Dawson, and they probably got the best wingman in the AFL, Seedsman, who probably should have made All-Australian because he played on the wing and played at an All-Australian level as a wingman. But, as we know.
But there's no such thing as an All-Australian wingman.
No, that's right, because they'd rather put inside mids like Merritt and Walsh on the wing, which make no sense. And then they've got Jordan Dawson. Now, that is going to help them. Their delivery inside 50. Seidman's good at it, but now they've got another really good kick in Jordan Dawson. So,
what about the Giants?
No, I've got them making the 8.
Okay.
I believe the Giants are making the 8. And after I know it's a practice match, but after what they did to Collingwood, like Tom Green, the younger Tom Green for the Giants, the midfielder, the one that missed out in the Rising Star, who I probably thought should have won it. He had like 31 touches and kicked a couple of goals.
Okay, so no, not them.
You're probably right with Adelaide. Look, Freo, I think Freo could underperform.
Freo, I reckon, are like a top 8 smoky.
Yeah, I think you're right.
They'll be I reckon they'll be up around like 9, 10.
Maybe. Yeah, 9, 10.
Saints. What about the Saints?
They just lost Hunter Clark. I don't necessarily rate the bloke, but I don't know if the Saints could. To be fair, in the practice match last night, they were pretty much outplayed for most of the game. It's just that not just the accuracy, but for the majority of the game, the Bombers had control of really that. It looked like the Bombers were the better side, but St Kilda were more efficient, which is how they made the finals in 2020. They weren't going inside 50 a hell of a lot, but when they did, they made their chances count. St Kilda, dare I say it, Carlton, because new coach, new system, who knows? Geelong, I think it's about time that they start to fall down. Maybe not to that extent, but I don't think they're in the 14th mix. I reckon you're right with Adelaide. Who are they? Rolly Thilthorpe's a good young forward, but you can't rely on a second-year forward.
Well, they've got Tex Walker for what that's
who won't be back for a while.
Then they've got. Well, they've still got Fogarty, yeah, and they've got
Fogarty. But he's been a disappointment. He's like Francis, where highly talented as juniors, but they just haven't been able to translate. I want to see Fogarty break it, but he's in a make or break year. The size of him, you'd think that he'd be a competitive beast, and he might be competitive, but by gee, he just struggles to. One, stay fit, and 2, get the ball. So I feel like Adelaide are probably in that range.
So Adelaide 14, I can do that. I'm all right with that.
Adelaide
I won't lose
14.
any sleep over that one.
Yep, that's all right. Now 13. Now
the problem is we have pretty much every team from now could probably make the 8.
Yeah, look, it's quite tough. I think this sounds like a Fremantle spot, but I don't think that I think they'll finish.
I reckon Carlton are probably more likely to finish here than Fremantle would.
I think you're right, but look, with what they have, there's no way Carlton can finish. Right, it wouldn't surprise me if Carlton sack Boss after 1 year, if they finish below 12. But
because looking at the teams that are left, potential to finish 13th, probably
the Bombers are another. The Bombers are probably another team, because as I stated before, their midfield, while people keep saying how good their midfield depth is, they can't get a clearance to save their life. But I listening last night, and this is and it sounds right, that what the Bombers do, they push Snelling up to be the extra midfielder in a stoppage clearance, but we lose the stoppage clearance. So what gain is that? Because then you leave the loose down, who more than likely gets the ball, and then they're away. And then on top of that, the defenders for the Bombers, they're in an attacking position. So if the opposition get the ball quickly and get it over, the defenders are out of position. And that happened in the practice game last night against St Kilda. But look, I don't, and and then you, as I said, you look at the first 3 games. If they don't win one of the 3 games, the Bombers are not making the 8. That is, I don't care what anyone says. That is a fact. If they don't win one of the 3 games against Geelong, Brisbane, or Melbourne, they're not making the 8.
Okay, so what teams do we think could finish 13? We've got
Freo,
Carlton, Essendon,
St Kilda.
St Kilda. So we have 4 teams that.
Honestly, out of all those teams, I think Fremantle. I don't trust them. Like, yeah, look, Fife might spend time forward, but
So how many more games can they rely on Monday to win as well?
Well, yeah, Mundy's been a warrior for that team, so it'd be hard for them to just. And then their defense. Well, who are their defenders? Like, Hamlin's injured all the time. Who else? James Aish plays in the back line. Yep. So, because I think, look, if you're a team building, you want to have at least where Freo are, you need to have well-known defenders, and I don't think Freo have well-known defenders. Maybe other than Hanley, who did the job on Franklin in the 16 grand final, but he's injured. So I think this is a spot for Freo.
Yep, Freo 13, and then
12.
12.
I'll wait. Yeah. So yeah, you're right again in the chat. Yeah. 12th.
I reckon 12th is the St Kilda spot.
Yeah, St Kilda. Look, again, what young talent do they have coming through other than Max King?
Well, Caulfield and
Caulfield's done his knee,
injured themselves. So.
And I mean, Wanganeen Miller tried to do some exciting things, but he didn't look really that composed, like the drafting report was. And I think St Kilda could get pretty reliant on Max King as well, in my opinion. So that's that. Now, what are we up to now? 11?
11. So. Well,
you got
Essendon and Carlton that we were talking about just before. We haven't put anywhere.
Well, and I'll let you know now. The top 8 team I don't have making the finals from that. Last year. I think Geelong. I don't think they'll make finals this year. I really don't.
They are getting old.
They're old, and and they won't give games to young players while guys like Cameron and Smith are rolling around. And they got rid of Constable, which made no sense whatsoever. So this spot to me feels like this probably feels like a Geelong spot. I think they're going to fall down to yep.
Even if you've got Essendon, if they don't win one of their first 3, missing the 8.
Yeah.
Well, who's going to be closer to making the 8 then? Essendon or Geelong?
I've got Essendon purely because of how young they are. And I think in time, while the season does progress, I think they will finally figure out, well, one, who their small forward's going to be, because that's the big issue. I mean, once Tipper comes back, it'll be right. But I've got Essendon there.
And what about a team like a Sydney? Do we just have
I actually have Sydney
going up?
I've got Sydney going up. Going up's all right.
What about Richmond?
I've got them making the 8. That's the team I think will replace Geelong.
So Geelong 11?
Geelong 11.
And then the Carlton finish ahead of Essendon?
10. No. I think... Now,
so Essendon finished 9th. So
Essendon are making the 8. Essendon are making the 8. I've got them in the 8.
Oh, well, I thought you said...
what we'll discuss.
Okay.
We'll discuss. I think that they just make it. I would like to think that, but...
so Carlton 10?
Carlton 10. Who's at 9 that they have?
Well,
that we haven't...
we have to boot someone out. If we've
I
got
can't-
Geelong at 11, so we've still got Collingwood.
Wait, Collingwood's there. I completely forgot about Collingwood. What the?
So who makes the 8? Collingwood or Carlton? Oh, sorry, Essendon.
Well, Essendon.
So
I
Collingwood
feel
9.
Yeah, we'll go Collingwood 9.
Oh,
And-
okay, actually, so I've put Carlton as 10, but who has a better season, Carlton or Collingwood?
Carlton have a better season, so we'll go Carlton 9.
Okay.
Then 8. Look, yeah. See, this is the interesting part because I think Richmond purely make 8, like finish 8, purely because look, yes, they've still got their stars, but I think as the year goes through, they'll start playing a lot of the kids. Like one that I really liked that they played last year was Collier Dawkins. Really like the look of him. In the practice match, Josh Gidkus, their first round pick, I think he is a smoky to debut round 1. He was so good. They were talking in their intra-club practice match. He played on Jack Revolt, and there are a lot of reports saying that he beat Revolt. Yeah, if you're beating a bloke at that caliber,
Revolt's getting on.
Regardless, you don't lose your competitive edge at that age. You think you don't lose your ability to play. The only thing you really lose is your speed.
No.
You don't lose your smarts. And Gidkus beat him, and he looked really. From what I saw in the practice game, he looked really composed.
All right, so
We've got Richmond 8.
Richmond 8, not like no Gold Coast just sneaking in, no Essendon just sneaking in.
No,
Oh, sorry, not Gold Coast, Giants.
no, I don't think Giants are just going to sneak in. I've got 7th. I feel like this is where the Bombers are going to be, but you let me know. Like, what do you think?
7th.
Does that sound like somewhere where the Bombers are going to finish?
Well,
Look, Jay Kelly.
It's this point, of the other 6 teams left, are there any that Essendon
Can beat.
you'd say are better than?
I'm not going to say better than, but I think they match up well against the Giants, the Swans. And I think, well, Brisbane and Melbourne, I think they would do okay. I think that's a good matchup for them. Because they're playing indoors. And, they train indoor pretty much with their facilities. Well, I can't say pretty much, but like that. And plus, while they beat the Bulldogs, they beat the Bulldogs last year, lost them in the final, and I know it was a trial match, but they beat them there as well. So, no, I'm not trying to hype them up, but I'm just trying to answer your question honestly there. Plus, Jake Kelly, he's going to pretty much, I would like to think, fix the small forward leakage, which the Bombers have been going to concede goals to small forwards. And then, Waitman or Waitman, whatever you want to call him, kicked 4 in the elimination final. The other thing is, though, I'm not too sure about their forward line. That's the one thing that scares me. If Michael Hurley doesn't come back, their tall forward line, you got Peter Wright, who, played well. I will say he stood up when he had to.
3 meter, Peter.
More like 50-meter bomb, Peter. He was donging them from 50. Harry Jones, who still, to me, looks like he's not 100% right. And then Kane Baldwin, who did some really nice things. He only had about the 10 touches, but he put on a block for Wright. What I mean by that is he blocked the player that was on Wright. Legally, of course, not illegally. But he blocked him off.
As soon as you say block, it sounds kind of...
Well, he provided a shepherd, let's say. Well, when I say shepherd, he stood in the way of Wright's opponent. And that gave Wright the space.
All right.
That's not illegal. And then, you would think, and Perkins looks like he's taken his game to, he looked quite darn good. So I feel like, look, to me, this is either a Giants or an Essendon spot. but I feel like the Giants are the better side.
I go at Essendon 7.
Essendon 7, yeah. Essendon
Yeah.
7. Giants,
Giants 6.
6. And I've got Port Adelaide missing the 4.
Port Adelaide missing the 4.
They cannot beat the good sides. When it matters most, they cannot beat the good sides. Name the one good side that they beat last year.
I could barely tell you who most teams beat last year.
Well, they lost to the Dogs at home. Not just in the final, but in the home and away season. They lost to Geelong at home
But that's
after
the
they
thing.
got into a 5-goal lead.
I reckon Port Adelaide would finish higher on the ladder than Sydney would.
They won't. I've got no. Port Adelaide, in my opinion, would struggle to beat Sydney. Like, well, realistically,
6 is
what
the
do you think?
Giants, yeah?
Yeah, 6 is the Giants. Port Adelaide, to me, they can't win the big games. They can't. Since they've been in the AFL, they really, like, when they make the 8, they struggle to beat those big sides or struggle to beat sides when it matters most. They like bashing up teams outside the 8 by 60-plus points, which is why they get all their percentage. But to me, they're just not a top 8 or top 4 side.
I don't know about that.
Well, you want to go Sydney 5th then?
Well, who do we have left? Melbourne, Port, Lions, Dogs, Swans.
Yeah. I feel like this
See,
is...
it's really hard to put any of them, like, not in the top 4.
Yeah, no, it is. Look, I just think, well, it depends on how reliant Sydney are on Franklin, because we know that they're going to target him so he can get to his 1,000. But then it's a question of, can he actually stay fit throughout the whole season? And if he does, Sydney finish top 4. Because they have got guys that can kick goals without him. They've got
And then they've got the young kid, McDonald,
who is, I really like. Goulden as well. And then they've got Will Haywood as well, who people often forget how young that bloke is. And Heady's no slouch in front of goal. Didn't he? He had 1 year, I think, he kicked 40. So,
okay, so Swans making top 4. Okay,
yeah,
and then
Port Adelaide finishing 5th.
not someone like the Doggies, or God forbid the Lions.
No, Port Adelaide for me are finishing 5th. Well, to me, Lions, once they get their players back, they'll be too good. So, yeah, Sydney 4th. Now, I've got...
4th. I'd put probably Brisbane 3rd.
Yeah, I was just about to say Brisbane, because I think early on they're going to struggle without Hipwood. And I know he's not the be-all, end-all, the most important player on that team, but, I mean, look, it's unfair to have Danaher as the... I know he's the number 1 forward, but, I mean, without, like, a second primary tall forward, he struggled. And that's... And look, and you know how much I love Danaher. I love him to, like, if I could, I was going to say I'd marry him, but that's probably going a bit too far there. But that's just what I have. Brisbane 3. Now, I don't think Melbourne are going to be the premiers this year.
I reckon they'll get the minor premiership, though.
Yeah. I don't think they will. That's what I'm saying.
You reckon the Dogs are going to finish on top?
Yeah, it's hard to back up minor premierships. That's what I was meant to say that.
Do the Dogs
it is harder
have a ruckman? Because they seem to avoid putting Tim English in the ruck.
Yeah, I don't think they fixed that, to be honest. I really don't.
Steph Martin, but Steph Martin hasn't exactly been able to stay on the par.
And, well, look, maybe Tim O'Brien to get him into the game. But I think they want to use him as a intercepting defender.
See, I don't think the Dogs can finish top.
You don't?
No.
I can see them winning the grand final.
Yeah, I can see him win the flag, but I can't see them finish on top of the ladder.
I mean, look, with that midfield, that midfield really shouldn't really need a ruckman, to be honest, though.
Well,
Whereas-
Bontempelli's pretty much big enough to be a ruckman anyway.
Well, yeah, he is. But look, see, the question
I'd go
is,
Dogs 2, Melbourne 1.
yeah. Well, look, I'd be tempted to do that too as well. Yeah. Look, and the question with the Dogs is, how many games will Jamara Hayden, like, how many games will he play? Because
Well, I'd imagine it'd be more than last season.
I thought they managed him well last season. I don't care what anybody says. Just because you're a first round pick doesn't necessarily mean you're guaranteed a spot.
Yeah, well, this is the second season. You'd like to think.
Second season. So what? You want to develop him properly. You don't want to bloody cook him. Look at what Carlton did to Cruiser. They just put him in, and his body was shot by his third season, and he was injury prone for the rest of his career. You don't want that.
Yeah, but there's a lot more stress and pressure on a ruckman than there is on a forward.
Yeah,
he wouldn't even have to be the main forward because they've got
Yeah, but as a forward, you're still expected to jump into packs. And it's somebody that size, you would expect somebody to take contested marks. And I don't think he's at the body strength yet to take contested marks weekly. But
I still reckon Dogs 2.
Yeah, Dogs
1.
2, Melbourne 1. Now, I feel like we need to do our overall season prediction. Your crazy story, or your crazy, say your top 2 crazy stories that you think will happen during the season or at the start. Rising Star, Brownlow medal, flag winners, wooden spoon. So, look, I have Gold Coast winning the spoon, or I can't say winning, but getting the spoon.
It's winning the spoon, mate.
Yeah, winning the spoon. I don't know how that classifies as a win, but
who else? Who would want a wooden spoon for the kitchen?
What? Oh, yeah, for the club room, so you can make your fucking cake during the summer. Oh, well, actually, who'd want to make shit during the summer? But by the way, this is going on our post when we do this a season prediction. So yeah, Gold Coast winning the spoon. There you go. Rising Star. I've got Dacos from Collingwood winning it.
Dacos.
He had 31 touches. He was his team's leading possession winner. And Horn Francis, while he played okay against Melbourne, a lot of his disposals were turnovers. So, not sure.
Not someone like a Rachel? Or Rachel?
Yeah, Rachel. He could win it, but, we all know how much everybody loves their midfielders. So,
Ben Hobbs, Smokey?
No, I don't think he'll debut round 1. Where does he fit in the team? They have Caldwell, Parrish, Merritt, Stringer plays in the centre square. They even trialled Cox and Perkins. Perkins made sense. Cox surprised me.
Isn't Cox a wingman?
Yeah, but they put him in the centre square against the bloke that was 14 centimetres shorter than him, and he's just turfed him out of the way. He's just thrown him. He's like, get out of my way. So, I've got Nick Dacos winning the Rising Star. What about you?
I was just trying to think of anyone else that could. Because Darcy's injured.
I don't think he would have won it anyway.
Yeah, but he's also injured, so that doesn't help.
Ward, possibly from Hawthorn, he could be a smoky to win it. He impressed in the practice game.
Rising Star could also be like someone from last year who barely played as
well.
Yeah,
I think, so the eligibility is you have to be 21 years younger and you've had to play less than 10 games. Or 12 games or something like that. Ugle Hagen, if he actually did all right, could do that. Braden Campbell, from Sydney. I don't know how many games he played for the Swans last year, but he could. Logan McDonald. I don't think they played more than the required games. Elijah Hollands, he hasn't debuted for Gold Coast yet. He went at, I think, pick 5. I almost forgot about him, but I just reminded myself about him.
Yeah, I'm all right with going with Dacos though.
Dacos, Premiers. I've got the Dogs.
Doggies. There's a very large part of me that would like to say the Lions.
But you know that's probably not going to happen.
It honestly depends how well Hipwood comes back.
Yeah, no, look, I'm going Doggies. There's no way that team can't make it to the grand final. When you look at how talented that team is, you can't. And the thing is, though, that all those players, they're like middle-aged players. They're not like.
Are we
late
looking
20s.
for a consensus? Is this like what we're going to say as the podcast thingy?
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm willing to debate. Like, I'm willing to make sure that, we do get this kind of right.
Well,
as our prediction.
Because I reckon a lot of what Brisbane's chances to win depends on how good Rayner is when coming back.
That's right,
and
because
how
he'll
good
play.
Hipwood is.
And probably if Harris Andrews can bounce back, because let's be honest, he didn't have the best year last year.
Yeah, he had an ordinary season. And Darcy Gardner did just injure himself.
So at the moment, I would say the Dogs.
Not Demons to back it up and win at the G.
Oh, look, I'd like to think that, but it's really hard in 18-team competition, and I know Richmond is the last team that's done it, but like I don't know.
No cheeky Sydney to just absolutely light it up.
I don't think look, that it'd be exciting though, but I don't know if they'll be able to do it. They might get themselves to a cheeky prelim, but maybe not a cheeky grand final and sneakily win the grand final. Richmond from 8th, the Giants from 6th. I feel like out of all the elimination sides, they are the ones that would cause those top 4 teams the most trouble. They match up well against the Ds. They match up well against the Dogs. I feel like they would do okay against the Lions, and I think they've got a pretty good record against the Swans. Plus, I reckon they probably cruise past Richmond and Essendon. Or not cruise past, but like beat them. I feel like at the moment we might want to just stick with the Dogs.
Yeah, Doggies are probably the most.
Now, the one we're going to struggle to predict is the Brownlow medal. There is so many players in
Hey, Grips, mate.
No. He had literally Sam Walsh is going to steal votes.
You know what? Cam Rayner for the Brownlow. He's going to come back.
Look,
okay.
You're not
I'm
talking.
sorry.
I've got Petrarca. Petrarca for me.
Petrarca.
He came third in a side with Oliver and Gawn stealing votes off him. Well, some close to third. He finished top 5, I think, or in the top 10 in the Brownlow, with Oliver and Gawn stealing votes.
No Bond.
He could. I would like to say Bond, but look, even better, you know what? I reckon we could go for a cheeky tie in the Brownlow. Bontempelli and Petrarca to tie it. It's a possibility. Because you can't split. I seriously, I know they play different roles for this odd, but I cannot split them in terms of how much impact they have on the game when they play.
That's the thing. The umpire's probably going to find it pretty easy.
Yeah, well, Petrarca can get 15 touches and kick 4 goals, and he gets 2 votes. Bontempelli can get 14 touches, kick 3 or 4 goals, and give off 2, and he gets a vote doing that. Because look, and this is probably going to be another thing we're going to have to discuss, how the Brownlow should be considered, like when doing the votes. Should it be based on what the bloody stats say, which, let's be honest, that's what people go by, or should it be based on the impact that you have on a game? Like, what's better, having 30 touches, not really doing much with the ball, or having, say, 15 touches, kicking 3 or 4 and giving off 2? I feel like that's better. You've had a better game doing that than getting 30.
Yeah, well, you're not an umpire, are you, mate?
Well, no, but like you just, you know what? You bring up a good point, but this is just my opinion, or that is my opinion. So, what do you think? We're going to go Brownlow tie. No, you know what? Smokey. I've got a Smokey coming up. Hang on, what's his name? Jeez, some Smokey I have. No, Smokey, when he comes back, I was going to say Toby Green, but he's here for the first 6 weeks, so that doesn't count.
I mean, he theoretically could get enough votes if he polled all 3 from round 7
but
to 23.
I don't think he could. I don't think he's eligible anyway because he's out. No, you know what? Smokey Brownlow medalist. I've got. Oh shit! No, I had him in my head. No, you know what? No, sneaky. No, Smokey one. Matt Rao. He'll return to form and just poll votes.
And poll votes for fun like he did in his first season.
In his first 3 games and then got injured. Yeah. Okay. No. In all seriousness, though, what do we reckon? Petrarca or Bontempelli or both?
Petrarca's probably more likely to get enough votes than Bont.
But then again, though, because look, I mean, they have players on each side that are going to steal votes off them. It's going to be a question of how dominant is one going to be. Like, who's
That's
going
the
to be more
thing.
dominant?
Bontempelli's all right taking a back seat.
Because he's a team. I mean,
Yeah,
I'm not saying that.
Which is what's going to be against him in an individual award.
He's too much of a team player. That's why.
Yeah.
I mean, really, if the Dogs had won the grand final, he was probably the Norm Smith medalist at halftime. Not Treloar, because you know what was funny about the grand final? When Treloar
There you
went
go.
into the middle,
Treloar's the Brownlow Smokey. Lucky.
no, he's not. He has like 30 touches and like turns it over. Half his disposals are turnovers. So, no, the funny thing with the Treloar thing, right? As soon as he went in the center square in the last minute, that was when Melbourne kicked 4 goals and went off. So, okay, now crazy prediction time. So obviously one, I've got West Coast finishing bottom 4. That's one. Now, I'm going to say this as a big one. Ben King to re-sign with Gold Coast, but I have heard a rumour where the same guys that predicted the Dylan Shields stuff a couple of years ago when he was requesting a trade, or that they were adamant, they said that he was going to go to the Bombers, and of course they were right. Those same people were saying that Gold Coast and Essendon have made a deal behind closed doors, and it's ready. Now, I don't see that happening, but
I swear to God, if you guys get Ben King, there goes your forward problem.
Well, no, then that just means we're going to finish 9th the following year because, of all the hype they're going to get and they're going to underperform. But anyway, no, so I seriously think that Ben King is going to re-sign with Gold Coast. They'll give him like a 5-year, $1 million a year deal. I know he's come up his ACL, but they really, really want to keep him. I feel like that's probably a big story if it happens.
I know. Based on our ladder, a big call is Geelong not making the 8, even though
it probably is possible that they won't. So I don't know what you're talking about there.
Well, you're predicting a team to go from 3rd to like outside the 8.
Well, it's happened before where a team has won the flag and then not made the finals the following year.
Yeah,
I'm looking
that was
at
because
Bulldogs.
that's Hawthorn won a year.
Oh yeah, that's right,
before
Hawthorn.
they should have.
Oh yeah, and then they made they finished like fourth, and then they made like bottom six the following year. 2018 they finished top four. The following year they didn't even qualify for the eight. Don't even question me on that because I know that.
Okay, geez, sorry, I wasn't going to, but you know what? Now I think I might question you just because you said.
Okay, now look, now give us your other big story because we're gonna have to then try come up with two big stories as a podcast.
Big story.
Go with your personal one. You've already said one. What about your other one? Oh wait, we forgot to predict their Coleman Medal winner. We'll do it after this, after your
Big story.
like just crazy. Like it can be as ridiculous as you can think. Actually,
The AFL picks all Australian wingmen.
You know what? I like that. No, Steve, no, don't laugh. That's a good one. Because that'll start conversations, you know. How should the Australian team be picked? Now, I know we've already talked about this in a previous episode, so we won't go into that. But
do you want to hear my really crazy one?
Okay, what's your crazy one? Jeez, you're lucky.
Cam Rayner, all Australian.
Oh, whoa, jeez.
I know that's the bias in me coming out, but Cam Rayner, all Australian.
Okay, if we're going to go bias, then I suppose we're going to say Darcy Parish for the Brownlow and Norman Smith medal winner. But look, that's not.
Joe Danaher is winning the Coleman, so.
But okay, so as a podcast, what do you reckon we should go with our big stories? I think the Ben King one is probably the biggest one. And I'm not saying that because I said or thought of that, but I think realistically,
Ben King resigns and AFL picks all Australian wingmen that are actually.
I'm actually happy with that. I go with that. So can you actually put that in the chat so we don't forget when we need to put up the post for that?
All right. So what have we decided? What have we just decided? Stories.
So stories. So we've got the AFL to actually pick like wingmen in the All Australian side, like actual wingmen. And
so Ben King stays, and all Australia wingmen are actually wingmen.
Yep.
And then Rising Star was Dacos.
Rising Star was Nick Dacos. Yep. The premiers were the Bulldogs. I think we agreed on.
Yeah, that was the Doggies.
Brownlow medal winner was Petrarca. Is there another? Wooden Spin was Gold Coast. Now, the Coleman medalist. That's going to be a hard one to pick. I feel like, look, Max King could be up there. I'm not saying he's going to win it, but he is up there.
Okay, so if we had to put like a top 5 right now, just 5 forwards, we reckon we could get it.
Norton.
Franklin, if he stays on the park.
Yeah, put Franklin question mark there. Danaher, potentially. Who's another
big forward?
Well,
Hawkins?
No, but I reckon now this is the year they'll probably share the load. Mackay, I know we won it last year, but that doesn't necessarily mean that he's going to win it again. But Mackay.
Do you reckon there's too many forwards in the Melbourne forward line for one of them to get near it?
Yeah.
What's another team that's got like one?
Well, Tom Lynch, he has probably the most shots for Richmond, but Max King, sorry, yeah, we've got to go with Max King. He'll be top 5. So we've got King, Norton, King, Norton, Danaher. Then we've got Franklin question mark. I'm tempted to go with Tom Lynch. Oh no, Mackay was the other one.
For the because obviously the Carlton one, because the North Melbourne one played on the back line.
Yeah. So, I mean, we've got 5 there, but I think the other one would be Tom Lynch. Now, my money, I'm predicting Max King to win the Coleman.
Max King.
He's the number 1 forward for St Kilda now. And now that he's fixed his accuracy, boom.
We're not going
He's
to
the
go with a
best.
cheeky small forward like Charlie Cameron
No.
or a Papley.
Or Papley's probably the more likely one.
Actually, Papley's more likely to get it than Franklin.
Yeah, so yeah, we'll piss Franklin off and put top. People were questioning his decision, like the decision to put
To
Papley in
stay and not
Australian.
go to Carlton.
Well, yeah, no, but not just that. But then last year, people were like, oh, he didn't deserve all Australians. Look at what he did. He kicked 40 goals and averaged 17 touches a
Yeah,
game.
and they'll be
Something
looking
like
at the game where he's dived for free kicks against Hawthorn.
Yeah, they'll look at that. I completely forgot about that game. Or the game where he dropped the F-bomb against Essendon because he copped one to the nuts. And the umpire's asked him if he's all right. And he's gone, oh, fuck. Probably didn't need to do that, but shut up. So, what? Do you really think Max King can win it? Because you sounded shocked.
With what?
The Coleman.
Shocked.
Oh, okay.
Well, what we're going with King.
I mean, are you okay with going with King?
I know. I reckon you know what? Danaher probably doesn't kick straight enough.
Look. Welcome to Essendon fans' world. I mean, as much as I love him, yeah. Look, he is. He could be like that sometimes. He could make you want to rip your hair out. Actually, people had hair while watching him, but yeah. So Max King to win the Coleman. Is that what we're going with? Do you really want to go?
The problem is there's not really a lot of. What about Charlie Dixon, man?
No, Dixon, he's the most overrated forward in the comp. Don't get me started. Are you kidding? Oh, I thought you were going to say that I was
Josh Kennedy?
crazy. No.
Not
Really?
the forward for West Coast, the midfielder for Sydney.
Yeah.
Bontempelli for the Coleman.
You know what?
Now
Actually,
five?
He's
Now
going to
five
spend more
won't play
time.
in the middle. He might get enough shots.
But can he actually kick straight? He kicked off 2 goals, 19
No, he can't
last
kick
year.
straight. But you know what? Maybe a pre-season practicing as a forward because he can't play midfield anymore.
Because of the fact that
Actually, no, I don't think he's out of pre-season because he's had to reconstruct his shoulder again. But
because Fremantle just relied on him too much. So, look, are we going to agree with Max King to win the Coleman? Because now you're just pulling out midfielders for some reason. The last time I think the
Lukosius swing forward when the
Nah, I don't think he's got to learn how to play forward. I can't say learn how to play forward again, but he's got to kind of.
Oh wait, what's his name?
Regather.
The Gold Coast guy, the forward.
No, he's gone. Remember?
No, not King. The smaller one, the really exciting guy that you think's way overrated.
Oh, Isaac Rankin. Dude. No, he's no.
Lockie Neal for the Coleman.
No.
Hugh
Come
McCluggage
on.
if he kicks straight.
Okay, now you're going by, so I think we'll just stick with Max King for the Coleman. Jeez, imagine you going boss. I would have thought that would have been coming from me. Of all people, I didn't expect it from you.
Obviously you don't know me very well then.
Yeah, look, I know you well enough that you tend to forget to do things.
Jeez, mate, shots being fired.
Hey, come on. Yeah. Actually, no, I was going to say, do we want to talk about something particular on air? But I'd rather not. No, hang on. No, something's just come to my head. I think it's time for something which you know what.
It's time. You know what, Lockie? I was just thinking it was time. Yeah, I think it might be time. I keep pausing for too long. I'm ruining the suspense. It's time for LT's useless stat. We're calling it a stat or a fact this week.
One's a stat, one's a fact.
Oh, we've got a useless LT's useless stat and LT's useless fact.
Okay, so as we know, tragically, and we might want to probably say this, my thoughts are we've one, the Marsh family, the Rod Marsh family, and two, the Warney family, because that's just heartbreaking, you know, two Australian cricketing legends, I think it's fair to call them, died to a heart attack one day after the other, which is quite sad. So we'll start off with the stat. Now, we know, well, Rod Marsh was a wicketkeeper, right? And I don't think there would have been a bloke more upset than DK Lilly, because out of all the wickets that he took, 95 of them were nicked and caught by Rod Marsh. The late Rod Marsh, I should probably say. Not trying to be a smart ass or disrespectful, but late Rod Marsh.
That's a fair chunk of great DK Lilly's wickets, isn't it?
Yeah, so I mean, I feel his pain. Now, the Shane Warne. Now, this is a fact. More so fact, but it's got like stats, right? So the 2005
fact.
The 2005 Ashes series, well, it's probably fair to say it's got here, is widely regarded as the most thrilling test series there ever was. Now, Australia were already on the back foot because of Glenn McGrath's injury. I don't remember reading into what he did. I think he did something to his foot. And the quicks, the other quicks that they had, Brett Lee and whatnot, were for Australia. They weren't going into the series with a whole lot of form. But Shane Warne literally carried the bowling attack. He played in that series, played all 5 tests. He took 40 wickets, 40 in the series, average of 19.9, 37.9 strike rate, three 5-wicket innings, 2 10-wicket matches, and his best figures in the 2005 Ashes series in England was 6 for 46. Now, he, so 40 wickets, right? That sounds good in the series. The next best, have a guess how many the next best Andrew Flintoff took. Have a guess.
20.
That was the third best, Brett Lee.
25.
Close, 24.
Wow, you went to let me keep throwing.
Very different between the first. No. But we all know Warney was also pretty good with the bat in that series, scoring 249 runs with an average of 27.66 with a 50 in the series. So you could probably argue and say that was probably his. I can't say argue. Can't probably say the greatest ever series because I wasn't alive for his whole career and probably don't remember much about his career. But people want to go by the stats. That is some seriously impressive numbers.
Cricket.
Well, cricket by bowler, especially one that had to pretty much shoulder the responsibility of carrying the attack. So, well, there you have it. There is my useless, I can't say useless, my sad stat and fact. And look, I just want to say, I really just can't believe that this has happened. Like, yeah, Rod Marsh, although I wasn't clearly alive when he was playing, but you kind of just felt kind of sad as a cricketing fan. But then when Warney, like when Adrian sent the screenshot of the year that he was born to 2022, I thought, and I'd just woken up, and I thought, what the hell is going on? So I went on Facebook and started scrolling through, and it was confirmed. I thought, oh shit,
only 52.
Only 52 to a heart attack. Now, apparently he I don't know how long ago it was, but he had to go get a checkup on a heart condition that he had, or So that probably isn't a good thing. But he was in literally, I think, either day 2 or day 3 of a 3-month break. So I seriously can't believe that, he's gone, and, I honestly, I liked his commentary. Although, yes, he, as the guy that they interviewed on Fox Cricket, I think it was his manager, said that it was pretty much black and white with Warnie. What he said, that's
He
what
said what he
believed.
thought, and there wasn't a lot of.
Yep, he didn't like being, well, really, you could say he didn't necessarily like being wrong, but he would, we could probably, the best example that we can think of is his opinion of Mitchell Stark. That's probably the best one that we can probably go with. But look, I honestly like listening to his commentary. I don't know about other people, but I genuinely did. And well, really, I mean, I remember him as the commentator. As I said, I don't necessarily have a lot of
vivid memories of Shane Warne, one of the
player.
greatest.
Well, when he
wicket takers
retired,
ever.
when he retired, I hadn't
He
even.
retired in like 2007, didn't he?
Yeah, early 2007.
We were 7.
I hadn't even. I wasn't even 7. I was almost 7. So I was 6 when he
We
retired.
were 6. We were 6 then.
Geez, that makes us feel odd. Honestly, that makes us feel old then. That's quite sad in itself. So,
I don't even think I'd started playing cricket.
I don't think I'd even considered really liking sport at that point. Maybe football, yeah, but like really getting into sport, I don't think that was necessarily a thing until I was like, well, actually that year actually. Grade 1 is when I really started, kicking a ball and, well, I can't say playing backyard cricket, but, those are like my early years of remembering, playing backyard cricket. And, it's definitely quite sad, listening to, hearing Glenn Maxwell, he couldn't really speak. Neither could Ricky Ponting, and he's as tough as nails, and he was in tears. So, and same with Michael Vaughan, and his commentator colleagues. I think, is that the right word? Colleagues there. And yeah, so quite sad, really, in the end. But you just hope that this now. I can't say that you'd hope that you'd hope that they would be up for the challenge. I'm talking about the women's and the men's, but you hope that now this will definitely spur them on to hopefully for the women win the World Cup, which by the way had a very good win against England, and of course, who turned the game around? It had to be a leg spinner for Australia. Alana King took crucial wickets and restricted. And then I don't know if you saw the Jess Johannesson catch. It was an absolute monster. Remember when Dropper Archer kind of caught that ball in the Big Bash where it was just
that got whacked right next, right above him, and he just plucked it up.
Yeah. Well, I mean, this one was whacked a bit lower, but she's just held the hand out and it's just stuck. It was a really good catch. And yes, you're looking at your hands. Don't know why, but
because I bruised my hand.
Oh, you did. Oh,
yeah. The batsman whacked it straight back at my head, and I put my hand out, and then I was like, "Whoa, what just happened?" And the ball fell just in front of me, and I put my hand out and didn't take it. But yeah, really nice bruise on my hand from saving my face.
Oh, geez, I don't know. Was it really worth saving your face, or would you rather have been?
Well, it didn't go for 4, so, and I didn't get concussed, so I'll take the wins where I can get them.
Oh, righto. But well, then
yes. Anyway, after derailing your talk of an amazing catch with my saving of my own face.
Yeah, look at you, bloody changing it to make it all about you. How bloody selfish are you?
No, I'm just biased, mate.
Look, to be fair though, out of anybody, I'm probably out of the 4 of us, or 3 of us that actually talk on this podcast, I'm probably the more likely one to actually start talking about themselves first. So I'll let you get away with that one.
Yeah, flog.
Hey, now come on, I didn't call you a flog. Okay, now enough.
Well, you're nicer than I am, obviously.
Oh yeah, that's hard to come by. I'm really surprised. Compared to when we were at school, I thought you were the nice one. Jeez, I've misunderstood you by a long way. Oh, that's a bit harsh. But yeah, so and then Rachel Haynes scored a nice 100. Sorry, going back to their victory over England. So that was good. And then obviously the Australia-Pakistan match. Well, rather than being called, quoting you, dust bowl pitches, it's just a road, flat road pitch.
Yeah, not even dust bowl. See, it doesn't even achieve dust bowl status. It's literally just a road.
And well, we saw what Pakistan did, and we saw what Australia did. Now, I was watching a bit of it. Well, when I got home from the game that I scored for, which unfortunately we lost, the semi-final, that is. Kawaja got himself out for 97 for trying to play a reverse sweep, which I don't understand why you try to play a reverse sweep when you're on 97. But hey, players just have different minds, and I think it's Stumps. I'll have a look.
Yeah, Stumps due to bad light. Bad light. Australia. 2 for 271.
2 for 271 with who's
Marnus on 69 off 117. And Smith on 24 off 55.
Well, and look, and this is probably a big call, but I think this series will probably not so much redefine Smith, but it's going to sort out whether or not he's actually in the side for the next 5 years. Because let's be honest, he has not performed. Well, can't necessarily say not performed, but he's been
not himself.
Not himself.
Not at his own lofty standards.
Since the 2019 Ashes series in England. Now, I know he scored the odd 100 and whatnot, but I mean, would you say that that's probably a fair statement there?
Oh, yeah, probably.
And, well...
He hasn't been as good. He hasn't been the Steve Smith we've come to expect.
Well, yeah, we could say grown up watching. I recall watching, I won't say his first test, but like the first...
when he came in as a leg spinning all-rounder.
Yeah, look, I don't necessarily recall watching his debut or, his first couple of years, but I do remember the first Ashes series that he played in Australia that he played in, which was the one in 2013-14, where they absolutely slaughtered England 5-0. Yes, I like to remind England fans of that because they keep trying to talk themselves up, but unfortunately, they haven't got the Ashes series recently to back them up. We scored a couple of good hundreds when Australia needed him to do it, and I thought, maybe this guy could be something special. Batting at number 5, which is what he was batting at, and then all of a sudden he just exploded back. 2015, 2016, and really he hasn't looked back. It's fair to say. Yeah, well, in that case, then everybody, well, let us know what you think of our ladder prediction.
And all our footy predictions, because we seem to have done them all at once.
Are you complaining about that?
No, it's efficient, I guess.
Yeah, look, I think my nickname in the group chat should maybe change. The brains of this whole thing.
Oh my God, no, and you were calling me talking about myself. Mate.
I literally just said after you did that I'm the one who's more likely to talk myself up. And look at what I'm doing. I'm talking myself up.
Mate, if I were to show this clip to Sumit, he would not be changing your name to...
I know, he doesn't have to, but I will.
You can't change your own nickname. That's not how nicknames work. You know what? You know what, people? I want you to tell us down below if you think that someone can set their own nickname. Can you set your own nickname?
Oh, can I just
wrap up the episode? Yes, good call.
Yeah, because I've just looked at something and I'm about to burst into laughter. So
okay, well,
I suppose
I'd like to thank you guys for tuning in to this episode. I'm not even going to call it this week's episode. I'm going to call it this episode because I imagine we will be putting a lot of episodes out all at once very shortly.
I like your expectations. See, now this is what I like. you've now got finally expectations of this. I'm actually happy rather than going, yeah, no, I'll do it. And then a month later, yeah, look, I'll get onto it still.
Okay, so yeah, I'm not going to sit here and cop this anymore from Lockie. I've been Liam McDonald, one of your co-hosts.
And I am Lachlan Turner, the brains of this whole operation.
Oh my gosh. Okay, well, I don't have the energy to re-record that, so that's what we're getting. So
Yes.
thanks for tuning in, everybody,
Thank
and
you.
catch you next time. Toodles.
See ya. Bye.